Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new and it is your first time, welcome. My name is Amy Rebecca. I am definitely not quite what you would call that girl, but I am working on creating my dream life and bringing you guys along on the journey. Shout out to Imogen for requesting this video. She wanted to know more about some of the steps that I've been taking over the last few years to live more sustainably. So let's do that. The first thing I feel like I just need to say is that sometimes when it comes to sustainable living, there's this idea that you have to have an all or nothing approach. Either you're this eco warrior, like dancing through the trees in the moonlight naked and never using any plastic, or you're a mass capitalist consumer and you just don't do anything at all. But there is an in-between. Don't feel like because you can't do it perfectly 100% of the time, or because there are sacrifices or changes that you're not willing to make at the moment, that means that you're a bad person or that you're not able to pursue this in other ways. And that goes for everything in life. We're not going to be perfect at everything 100% of the time, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try and take steps in that general direction. A little bit is better than nothing at all. So I'm going to be sharing some of the steps that I have taken to live more sustainably. But that doesn't mean that you need to do all of these things immediately. It also doesn't mean that I do all of these things perfectly all the time. These are just some ideas, and I hope some examples that can show you that living more sustainably doesn't need to be complicated, it doesn't need to be difficult, and it doesn't mean you have to overhaul your whole life in one swift go. Let's not get overwhelmed with this. Let's make it as easy and enjoyable as possible. So the first thing that I did to live more sustainably, and also just to clear my conscience a little bit, was to go cruelty-free in all of my products. I gave up buying animal tested products in 2019? 18? It was a little while ago. And honestly, this was the change that instilled the most amount of fear in me, because I had so many products that I just loved, like my ride or die products, that I knew that I was going to have to give up. Giving up Estee Lauder seemed like giving up oxygen, but it meant so much more to me to know that my products were not hurting animals, so I was willing to make that switch. And I can honestly say that it's not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. There are so many amazing cruelty-free brands out there, and new ones being created every single day. If you want to check out some of my favorites, I will link my cruelty-free skincare routine and cruelty-free hair care routine down below. But a really good resource is Cruelty Free Kitty, the website. I will also link that in the description box. This website has a huge database of brands, and it will be able to tell you if it's cruelty-free or not, and it's regularly updated, so it's quite reliable information. And when you're shopping for products, if you just look on the back of a container, you will either see the cruelty-free bunny logo, or it will say this product was not tested on animals. It's quite obviously displayed because it's a big selling point for them, so they want you to know. The next thing I did that made my life significantly more sustainable and just better in general was to start buying less. Anyone who has read my No Buy Your ebook will be familiar with those shocking statistics about the amount of clutter that we have in our lives that then ends up in landfill. Because when you're in the habit of just buying things just because and not for a specific purpose, then you end up having a lot of excess stuff that you can't possibly use. Think about how many times you've decluttered your wardrobe and come across clothes that have the tags still on them, or things that you've only worn once, and then all of a sudden they're out of style or they don't fit you anymore and you have to get rid of them. Mindless shopping and buying is just blah. It's bad for your wallet, it's bad for the environment, it's bad for your mental health. I could talk about this forever. Simply making the conscious choice to be more intentional with your purchases will have a big impact. I did a no buy year where I completely cut out all unnecessary purchases for a year. I then went on to do a low buy year where I just bought like the true essentials. And I can honestly say that it completely transformed my relationship with stuff. And if you're willing to take on the challenge, then it really doesn't matter if you're watching this in March or in June or whenever. You can start right now. I will link my ebook in the description box if that's something you're interested in. But even if you're not quite prepared to take on a whole no buy year challenge, you can still be more intentional about your purchasing habits. For instance, do you currently just go shopping for fun on the weekends? Not because you have something specific to buy, but just because you're bored. Find something else to do. Are you the kind of person who buys stuff just because it's in the sale and it feels like a bargain, and not because you actually need that stuff? Stop, it's not a bargain if you don't need it. Making these small adjustments to your purchasing habits, I need to shut up about it because I could go on about it forever, but it has such a huge impact. The third thing I did to help me live a more sustainable lifestyle was think about when I did need to make purchases, how could I make them more sustainable and eco-friendly? Generally speaking, I don't really buy many new clothes anymore, but when I do need something new, like if I need a new jacket or if, like right now, I need new clothes for my new job I'm about to start, the first thing I do is see if I can get it secondhand. I love Vinted. I've bought a lot of stuff from Vinted. I also have sold a lot of my decluttered clothes on Vinted. I'll leave a link to that down below as well, because if you're looking for secondhand clothes, oh my gosh, there's so much choice, and you can filter by size and like if it's new or if it's lightly used and the brand. There's just so many options and it's so easy to navigate the app. I love it. Also, going and shopping in charity shops can be great. I got this little wrap that I'm wearing right now from a charity shop. Hey! There used to be this weird stigma around buying things secondhand, and thankfully that has been flipped completely on its head. It's now cool to get a bargain at a charity shop or like go thrifting. And that's great because there are so many environmental impacts of the fast fashion industry. So many clothes end up in landfill every year, and being able to like keep those within the cycle of like people buying them and wearing them and using them is great. Also, there's the humanitarian aspect of fast fashion, the way that workers in some factories producing these kinds of clothes are paid and the way they're treated, and it's gross. So for those reasons, I've been trying to take a real step away from fast fashion, but I cannot and will not sit here and tell you that I'm never going to buy from fast fashion again. Sometimes it's just not possible or practical to find what you need secondhand, and I know that there are sustainable brands available, which is amazing, but a lot of them are really pricey. So don't feel bad if all that is available to you or all that you can afford right now is fast fashion from the high street. Just take my previous tip into consideration, because if you're buying less anyway, then that's going to have an impact. The fourth thing I did to live more sustainably was start eating less animal products. This is a point where I lose everyone. I know. People don't want to give up their burgers, and I totally understand that. I used to be a meat eater. I used to love myself some chicken nuggets, a burger, chicken on pizza, oh my gosh, fish and chips, sausages, bacon, buttermilk chicken sandwich. And I'm not saying that you have to give up meat completely. I did because it was just so much easier. To be completely honest, I knew the impact that animal agriculture had on the planet. I watched Cowspiracy. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. Animal agriculture, as we already know, it produces like 51% of the world's greenhouse gases. It also creates water pollution. It damages biodiversity. It's linked to habitat destruction. Like, it's just all around really terrible for the planet. Any way that you can reduce your intake of these animal products is going to be more sustainable and more environmentally friendly. And people get so defensive when they think you're coming for their burgers. I get it, I know. And like I said, you don't have to give up eating meat completely. You can just reduce your intake. But if it makes you feel better, I've been vegetarian for quite a few years now, and I don't miss it at all. I hope you guys found these tips helpful, especially Imogen. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy this one, then please let me know by giving it a thumbs up to let me know. If you haven't already subscribed, then now would be a pretty good time to do that. We get together twice a week here on this channel to talk about all things intentional living, dream chasing, and personal development. So if that sounds good to you, then go ahead and subscribe to join the Odd Squad. We're all oddballs here. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember that I love you so much. You are enough just as you are, and I will see you all soon. Bye guys.